Welcome all of you. Rayat Online School Education Junior College has started an online program for the class 12 students. Today is the revision session lecture number 2 for the class 12 student. Subject is physics. Name of the unit is mechanical properties of the solids, and the presentation made by Mr. P. M. Shinde, Junior College Teacher, Karmavir Bhaurav Patil, Vidyalaya and Junior College, Bhuins. Students, on the screen there are certain materials. I think you may came across these materials. These materials they are oftenly used in daily life. Which are these materials? From which they are made up of? There are again well-known materials on the screen. Now the upper materials, those are used by the girls. These are the rubber bands. And the materials which are in the lower part of the screen, these are the toys and the utensils. In this chapter, in this revision chapter, we are going to study the some properties of the solids. Now solids has a definite shape and size when they are in equilibrium. In equilibrium, the solid will be in a definite shape and size, and these are the atoms of the solids, therefore their positions are fixed with respect to each other, and therefore the solid has a definite shape and size when they are in equilibrium. Now there is another property, we call it as a deformation. On the screen there is a plastic ball. When a force is applied to the object which is at rest, then shape and size of the object or both can change. Change in the relative positions of the molecule is nothing but the deformation. Now there is another picture in which the ball is deformed, means certain force it is applied on the surface of the ball and that ball gets deformed, means there is a change in the shape of the ball. This is called as the deformation. A force which produces a change in the configuration of the object which is applied on it is called the deforming force. On the screen, in the first figure, there is a regular shaped body or the object, but when deforming forces are applied from both the sides, the ball or the object gets deformed. Now there is another important term, internal restoring force. Now in the diagram there are two types of the arrows. In the first figure there are blue arrows which are showing the molecules of the air, they apply force on the object from outside, and there are brown arrows, it indicates the molecules inside the object, they apply force from the center on the inner sides of the object. Now when both the forces are same, the body is said to be in equilibrium, it will have definite size and shape. This internal force, internal net force, is called as internal restoring force. The force which is opposite in direction as that of the applied force is called as internal restoring force. In the second figure, the green arrows which are moving away from the center, they shows the net force and which is the internal restoring force. This force does not allow the body, this force allows body to remain in its state. Now the property is the elasticity. What is the elasticity? The property of matter by virtue of which the body tends to regain its original shape and size after the removal of deforming force is called the elasticity. In the diagram, there are two types of the arrows. Blue arrow which applies the applied force from outer side on the body, and there are brown arrows which creates the restoring force which is opposite to the applied force. When restoring force is greater than the applied force, the body will regain its original size and shape. What is the plasticity? The plasticity, it is also a property of the matter which does not, in which the particle or the object does not regain its original shape and size after the removal of the deforming force is called as the plasticity. In the first figure, there is load applied on the object. In the second figure, due to the application of the load, there is a change in the shape of the body, that is, there is a deformation. When applied force is removed but the body is still in deformed position, such bodies, they are called as plastic bodies, or the phenomenon is called as the plasticity. Now there are another important terms, that is the stress. Now what is stress? Stress is the internal restoring force per unit area is called as the stress. Internal restoring force, it cannot be measured. We can measure it in terms of the applied force. Therefore, we can also say the stress is the applied force per unit area. This ratio is called as the stress. It has a unit Newton per meter square. Now there is another physical quantity, strain. Strain is change in the dimension per unit original dimension. This ratio is called as the strain. Now stress and strain, they can be explained with the help of the length, volume and shape of the body. When the stress which is measured related to the length, the stress is called as longitudinal or tensile stress. When stress in the body, it can be measured in terms of the volume, then it is called as volume stress. When stress measured related with the shape of the body, then it is a shear stress. Similarly, there are three important strains are also there. First one is the longitudinal or tensile strain, second one is the volume strain, and third one is the shear strain. They are measured with length, volume and shapes respectively. Now the ratio of the stress to the strain, it is given by the Hooke's law. The Hooke's law states that within the elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to the strain. The stress to the strain, this ratio is constant and it is called as the modulus of elasticity. There is a figure. In that figure, there is a graph of strain versus stress versus strain. Stress is plotted on the y-axis and strain on the x-axis. Within the elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to strain. In the figure, there is a elastic region O to E. This region is the elastic region. In this region, both the quantities stress and strain, they are directly proportional to each other. Beyond the point E, the body gets gradually permanently deformed and the property is called as the plasticity. Means beyond the E, there is a plasticity of the body. Now the elastic modulus, that is the constants which are from the stress and strain ratio. The first constant is the Young's modulus. It is denoted by letter Y and it is the ratio of longitudinal stress to the longitudinal strain. We know the longitudinal stress or the normal stress is equal to F upon A. Longitudinal strain is a change in the length per unit original length, therefore small l upon capital L, and we get F into L upon A into small l. There is a diagram. In that diagram, capital L is the length of the object, it is the original length. When force is applied, there will be a change in the length of the body, change in the length of the rod, and that change or that extension is the small l. Therefore, the ratio becomes Y equal to F into capital L upon A into small l. But F is nothing but the mg, that is the gravitational force, and A is the pi r square, means area of the body. Therefore, Y equal to mg capital L upon pi r square small l. We can calculate the Young's modulus when the certain terms or certain quantities are given in the example. For the numerical, this formula is very important. There is another elastic constant which is related to the volume of the body, and it is the bulk modulus. It is denoted by letter K. It is also a ratio volume stress to the volume strain. Now in the diagram you can see in brown color there is a body. On that body the force is applied from outside and there is change in the volume of the body. Initial volume is V, and after the application of the force, the body has a volume dV. We call it as a change in the volume. Now the formula for the K becomes F upon A, means volume stress, divided by delta V, means change in the volume, upon original volume, and this relation gives rise to K equal to V into dP by dV. In this way, the bulk modulus K can be calculated. There is third constant of the elasticity, that is the modulus of the rigidity. It is denoted by letter eta. This modulus of rigidity is nothing but the ratio of shear stress to the shear strain. In the diagram there is a book, and for the book, on the book there is a force acting F which is in tangential direction. Due to the tangential force, there will be change in the shape of the body, but this change it will be in tangential direction. The lower surface remains at the same position, but there is the displacement of the upper layer of the book, and this will give rise to the modulus of the rigidity. Now eta will be F upon theta into A. Theta is the displacement of the upper layer, F is the applied force, and A is the area. In this way we can calculate the modulus of the rigidity. Now there is another important ratio which is called as the Poisson's ratio. This ratio is nothing but the lateral ratio of lateral strain to the linear strain or the longitudinal strain. Now in the diagram, the Poisson's ratio, which is denoted by sigma, it is equal to small d into capital L divided by capital D into small l. Now there is another important quantity in the chapter, mechanical properties of the solid, and we call it as a necessary evil. Now there are two words. Necessary means it is very necessary for the activities, but it is evil. Now why such word is used, we will discuss. तर या पिक्चरमध्ये आपणाला स्केटिंग केलेलं दिसतंय, पुशिंग केलेलं दिसतंय, रनिंग केलेलं दिसतंय, स्लायडिंग केलेलं दिसतंय, आणि देर इज ॲट द सेंटर देर आर बॉल बेरिंग्स which are used to avoid the extra friction. These are the certain pictures. Now what is the friction? The property which resists the relative motion between two surfaces in contact is called as the friction. या चित्रामध्ये आपल्याला दिसतंय बघा की एक मोठा ब्लॉक आहे आणि तो एक पर्यंत त्याला ओढतोय. आता हा जो पर्सन ओढतोय त्याची डायरेक्शन ऑफ द फोर्स त्या ठिकाणी रेड ॲरोने दाखवलेली आहे. त्याला आपण शियर ॲक्शन फोर्स असं म्हणूया. ॲट द सेम टाइम द बॉडी ऑर दॅट ब्लॉक इट रेजिस्ट द मोशन, and that resistance of the motion is nothing but the frictional force which is acting opposite to the direction of the applied force. याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला दोन्हीच्या डायरेक्शन्स अपोजिट दिसत आहेत. अप्लाइड फोर्सची डायरेक्शन आणि फ्रिक्शनल फोर्सची डायरेक्शन बरोबर या ठिकाणी अपोजिट दिसत आहेत. ते जे फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स आहे ते नेमकं कुठं ॲक्ट होतं ते आपल्याला या डायग्राममध्ये दिसते बघा. म्हणजे जर आपण पुढच्या केलं बॉडीला तर डाव्या बाजूने फोर्स ऑफ द फ्रिक्शन ॲक्ट होत असतं. या ठिकाणी काही पिक्चर्स दिसत आहेत, त्याच्यामध्ये ॲक्ट होणारे फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स आणि अप्लाइड फोर्स आपणाला दिसून येत आहेत. तर इथं व्हील्स ऑफ द कार आहेत, त्या ठिकाणी सुद्धा फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स ॲक्ट होत असतं. गाडी जर पुढे जात असेल तर त्याला रेजिस्ट करणारं, पाठीमागच्या बाजूनं रेजिस्टन्स करणारं एक फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स असतं. फुटबॉल दिसतोय आपणाला, फुटबॉलची मोशन जर उजव्या बाजूला जात असेल तो तर त्याला डाव्या बाजूने ओढणारं फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स ॲक्ट झालेला आपणाला ब्राऊन कलरच्या ॲरोने दिसते. तर देर इज वन फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम. देर आर टू surfaces, they are in contact. The blue color object is placed on the certain surface. There is a force which is acting vertically downward, we call it as a weight, or it is the gravitational force. It is as shown in the figure. Opposite to the gravitational force, there is a normal reaction which is acting in the upward direction. And if the applied force is as shown in the figure, it is from left to right side, the frictional force acts where the surfaces are in contact in opposite direction to that of the applied force. In this diagram, we can study or we can see the direction of the applied and frictional force. Now friction, there are three types of the friction. There are three types of the frictions. First one is the static, second one is the kinetic, and third one is the rolling friction. Static friction, when the frictional force balances the applied force when body is static, that is at rest. The type of the friction is the static friction. The second one is the friction between two surfaces in contact when one body is sliding over the other body. The type of the force is called as the kinetic friction. In the kinetic friction, there is a relative motion of the two surfaces in contact. There is a third one, the friction between two surfaces in contact when one body is rolling over the other body. Means rolling is there, that is the rolling body is in motion on the another surface. Now in the static friction, the force of static friction keeps a stationary object at rest, and this force, that is Fs, is as shown in the figure. It is opposite to the applied force and its value is given by Fs is equal to mu s into n. This is the general formula, normal reaction. But the normal reaction force here represented as Fn. Therefore, F is equal to mu into n. This is the first law of the static friction, where mu is the coefficient of the static friction. Second friction is the kinetic friction. Once the force of the static friction overcome the force of the kinetic friction, there is the motion between the two objects. One body will slide over another body and this will give rise to the kinetic friction, which is as shown in the figure. Now motion, it is on the right side, and the force of friction, it is towards the left side. Here the Fk is the kinetic force of the kinetic friction, and Fk will be given as mu into n. Mu is the coefficient of kinetic friction. We call it as a mu k. Mu k is the coefficient of the kinetic friction. Now there is a third friction, that is the rolling friction. In the diagram, there is a cyclist. त्या ठिकाणी एक सायकल चालवणारी व्यक्ती आपल्याला दिसते. नेहमीप्रमाणे ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल फोर्स वर्टिकली डाउनवर्ड आहे. नॉर्मल रिॲक्शन अपोजिट टू द ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल फोर्स वर्टिकली अपवर्ड आहे. द अप्लाइड फोर्स means the force applied on the pedal of the cycle by the person. It is the applied force, and there is a frictional force where the wheels of the cycle and the road surface, they are in contact. At that point there is a force of friction. There is another force also represented here, that is the air resistance. Now there are two skaters also, but In this skating there are wheels for the skateboard or for the shoes. त्या ठिकाणी खाली व्हील्स लावलेले दिसत आहेत. व्हील्स रोटेट होणार आहेत. देअरफॉर द फ्रिक्शन इज रोलिंग फ्रिक्शन. Now the advantages and disadvantages of the friction. Friction is necessary for the walking. To hold the object in the hand, friction is necessary. To stop the vehicle, the brakes are necessary. Braking means to apply the frictional force to the moving vehicles. Climbing on the tree, it is also essential. There is the climbing on the tree, it is because of the friction. If there will be no friction, we cannot climb on the tree. Now there are disadvantages of the friction also. Friction opposes the motion. It resists the motion of the body. More friction produces the wear and tear in the part of the vehicles. The friction produces the heat and noise in the machine. Friction consumes more fuel. These are the disadvantages of the friction. Means there are advantages and disadvantages of the friction. Now how to reduce the friction? Using lubricants, oils and grease, we can minimize the friction. We can minimize the heat produced. We can minimize the sound which is produced from the machine. We can use the ball bearings in between the rotating or the moving parts of the machines. In this way we can reduce the friction. Hence we call the friction as unnecessary evil. Though there are certain disadvantages, the friction is necessary for certain activities. In this way we revise certain properties of the solids which are studied in the 11th standard. Thank you.